Hi everyone, it's nice to be here. If we haven't met before, my name is Amy Carmody and we have an hour together. So we'll do some yoga. All we need is a couple of blocks. If anything doesn't feel great or it feels a little bit funky, then just feel free to do something of similar that it makes much more sense in your own body. And I might practice a fair bit with you because sometimes if you've never practiced with me before, I don't always use the common terminology in words, so it might just be helpful if I join you and hopefully it feels as nice as possible. So take one of your blocks and begin with it on the low edge underneath your pelvis. Just don't mistake that for your lower back. You really truly want it underneath, definitely the butt cheeks and your sacrum that lodges into your pelvis there. Just make sure that your sacrum is definitely on it, your tailbone is definitely on it. And have your feet, somewhat underneath your knees, facing straight ahead. Great. If you were to look, down the barrel of your body and see your thigh bones, they're pretty much somewhat facing up that same trajectory of your knees and your ankle joints, and then your feet are tracking in similar direction. And you're neither applying an outward pressure of the knees or an inward pressure. They're just, again, stacked over your feet. So if you don't yet have your feet flat on the floor, bring your feet to the floor now. Great. And then let's come to the structure, the architecture of the pelvis with your hands. So some of you might gravitate to having your hands on the front pelvic bones. You might like to do the hamburger clasp on the side of your pelvis. Yep, but just somewhat, somatically, tangibly connecting your hands to the bones of your pelvis. So you've got two big coxal bones, hip joints, and they join together. They join at the front at your pubic bone. There's like a cartilaginous joint here at the front. And then they also join together at the back at your sacroiliac joint. I'm just going to get you to bring your feet a little bit more underneath, yes, the knees there. Well done. Awesome. Then I'm going to get you to apply like an inappropriate amount of effort in your butt cheeks. Like it's just too much effort. You're squeezing your glutes a lot. You're trying to take your tailbone and direct it in an upward fashion towards your knees. If you're familiar with the movements of the pelvis, you're trying to almost essentially tuck it into posterior, almost to the point if I was to stand next to you and just shove that block out from underneath you, you'd be okay because you're so gripped in the hamstrings and your glutes. Amazing. Keep your front ribs knitted in towards your body. And let's together just take, just a normal big inhale breath through the nose and then release it how you need to. So keep your right leg as is for me, but then go ahead and take your left leg and dangle it long, similar to Shavasana, along the ground. Just like dangle it. Yeah. And like let the foot flop open. It might take you a few moments to truly let this side of your body come into what feels like a passive hang or a feeling of rest. So you might start at the hip. So your left coxal point, really soften the left buttock for me. Keep the right foot just engaged on the floor so that you can really concentrate on it dangling to this left side. So you softened the buttock underneath the left side. Now feel everything around your kneecap really soften. Let the quad disengage from the knee. Back of the calf at the back of the knee is relaxed. There's no effort in trying to point your foot up towards the ceiling. Attempting to just truly let that left psoas that curves around from the back of your spine through your belly, and then it starts to meet your iliacus muscle at the front of your pelvis, And then it goes and connects right up to your upper inner thigh on this left side. It is truly just getting a moment of, one, your attention to your breath, hydration. And when you compare it to the right side, it's just in a moment of release. So one more time, take a nice big inhale breath and release it how you need to as you exhale. So let's switch sides. So now place your left foot on the floor and the right leg goes nice and long. Yeah. So you're just wanting to sort of play with the opposites between your right and left side. So stomp that left foot on the floor, get a little bit of activity happening on this left side again. The glute somewhat engages. And having your right hand maybe just gently over the right hip could help you with that neurological connection. So your brain starts concentrating on this right side. You can feel the buttock hang off the block. You can let the quad disengage from the knee. Some of you are naturally sort of shimmying or shaking the leg, which can also help. The ankle feels nice and heavy and passive, your toes just falling off to the right more than likely. You feel like there's a jutting outward of your front ribs, just gently hug them towards the back ribs so that you can concentrate on truly letting the front of the pelvis have a moment rather than your diaphragm. And into this right side, let's take a nice big inhale breath. Release that how you need to. Beautiful. Now place your right foot back on the floor like we did at the beginning of class, where we had both feet underneath us, supported with the block in our bridge. Bring the left knee over your hip, so we've brought that into a 90-degree angle of hip flexion. And push your left hand against your left thigh for me and shove the thigh away from your own body, but make the thigh pull back into your hand. Yep, so you've got some now active engagement of your psoas, the opposite of what we just did. Use that as an opportunity to now push your right foot a little bit more strongly into the ground to again get lighter with the relationship of your body and the block underneath you. But no like inappropriate over effort, like just enough, like that Goldilocks approach. You're not, disengaged and not concentrating, but you're also not trying too hard. Now take your right arm all the way to the back of the room, like we would in down dog. You know how our biceps are right next to our ears in down dog? And let the scapula behind you elevate right up along your rib cage. If you felt like your front ribs were just sort of on a planet of their own and they do tend to pop open, just again, hug them towards your back body. Without too much, thought about it, just switch sides. So now we have our right foot hovered, right hand pushing the right thigh away. We give a little bit of oomph in that left foot to push away, and we're getting lighter against the resting on the block. Left arm by your ear. And it's like your fingertips are trying to touch that back wall. So you've created this really big armpit beside you. Your shoulder blade lifts up. Let's come back to this feeling of active hip flexion on your right side and active hip extension on your left side. Stay for an inhale and stay for an exhale. Beautiful. Now place 2 feet on the floor and get the block out from underneath you, but keep your bum up for me. Keep your bum up. All right. Let's create some fascial freedom in the lower back here. In your low bridge, you can again keep holding onto the structure of your pelvis. Just only let your right butt cheek touch the ground. So you've kind of made the pelvis wonky, right? It's not balanced. Then lift and zip the right butt cheek up off the floor again. So now only let your left butt cheek touch the ground and then lift it back up. And then just keep dancing between letting the right kiss and lift and the left kiss and lift. So just keep going in that pattern, that even cadence with your breath and your movement. And essentially what we're trying to do here is that every time you let your right butt cheek touch the floor and twist, you're taking what is often compressed tissue between the rib cage and the pelvis and just trying to gently, with subtle movement, expand that connective tissue. And the benefit is also that we kind of get our glutes coming to life as well. So hopefully you can feel your actual bum muscles. Keep going for another 4, 3, 2, last one. And then when you're ready, segment all the way down until your now pelvis is on the floor. Interlace your fingers behind the back of your skull. So you're holding your head like a basket and bring your elbows in really close like you're wearing a pair of blinkers. Into the back of your rib cage, take an inhale here. Then exhale, curl your head, chest, and shoulders off the floor and look at the barrel of your own torso, right? Imagine if there was a squishy little ball between your thighs, you do a gentle hug inward. It means your knees don't touch, right? It's just almost like an energy thing. But the muscular effort of your abdominal muscles are doing the same towards your linear elbow. We all have that line down the center, right? But then you're trying, without flattening bones to ground, you're trying to just take the subtlety of the tissue and pull it inward and down. Okay, let's repeat this. So lower your head on an inhale breath. On your exhale, curl up. And again, get that subtle, not only energy in, but energy down without flattening bones. Twice more, lower your head, inhale breath. Come on up, exhale. Keep your elbows in nice and close. One more time, inhale, lower. Come on up, exhale, breath. And this time, hover right knee over your hip and left knee over your hip, right? We'll all have different degrees, but subtle curvature of our lower back off the floor, right? Let's keep our feet and knees up now. Lower your head, inhale, breath. Elbows stay close. Exhale, curl off your shoulders. Try and get right off your scapulas. So twice more. Lower your head, inhale. Curl on up, exhale, breath. And again, last one, inhale, lower. Come on up, exhale, breath. And this time, kick your legs straight. Your hamstrings are a little grippy, right? Just keep a little bit of a bend to your knees. That's totally fine. Now, similar to like when we did those wonky bridges, can you sway your thigh bones just a little bit to the right until your left buttock feels lighter off the mat? If you go too far, you're going to fall, right? Now, keep your shoulders off the ground. Center your legs and sway them a little bit to the left until like that right sitting bone just kind of lifts off the floor. Good, get your head up, get your elbows up. Now center your legs, keep them up like that. Lower your head, inhale, breath. And curl off your shoulders as you exhale. Brilliant. Now sway legs a little to the right, not too much because you'll fall, but then turn your torso a quarter to the left so that your left set of obliques are really short, but get your left shoulder blade off the floor. Good, now center everything, legs and torso. Sway your legs to the left, just a little, but quarter turn your body to the right until these right obliques from armpit to pelvis are compressed. Good, and then center everything. Lower your head, inhale, breath. Curl on up, exhale. I know you're questioning coming here by this point, I promise. It gets better. Sway your legs a little to the right. Turn your body a little to the left. Now, if possible, right heel 3 inches off the ground. But get off your shoulder blades. And then lift it back up. Oh, and then center everything. Stay up for me, stay up. This is the last one, I promise. Sway your legs to the left. Quarter turn your body to the right. Now about 3 inches. Left heel off the floor. Get off your left shoulder blade. Stay. And then legs up, center, and relax. Oh, well done. Little back sweat against the mat there. All right, take your feet nice and wide now. Yep, as wide as the mat. Let your knees drop and hang over to the left. Branch your right arm out to the right. And just let your left hand go across the front of those abdominal tissues and just kind of rub and release. Yep, as you're twisting and opening up the chest. And other side, let your knees sway to the right, branch your left arm out, and then just give yourself a little bit of a belly rub. Beautiful. Okay, come over onto your hands and your knees, however you like to get up, and bring your 2 blocks underneath you. Quadruped is usually quite a tight stance. Just make it a tiny bit longer. Walk your knees a little bit further back. Great. Keep your right hand flat on the block and push the arm bone. Spin the crease of your eye forward, right? So make sure you have that angle of your arm bone. Like you're starting a lawnmower, pull your left elbow back. You don't have to look up to the sky. Probably feel a bit cranky for your neck at this point, but try and get your rib cage to wrap under and around with the elbow. Then thread the needle, but just for a moment, you're repeating this. So left elbow back up, and then thread the needle. And just keep exploring that motion for me. Try and feel your rib cage spin around the axis of your spine and not worry about your neck so much. Again, don't worry about the gaze or moving your head. Think of the diaphragmatic tissue being massaged every time you spin to the left and then spin to the right. The next time you spin with that lawnmower pull to the left, step the right knee a little more forward, just a little bit, yep, and step the left foot off the mat to the left, with toes turned out. Yep, great. And from there, you'll feel now, because your femurs are angled different, you have permission to spin your pelvis with your rib cage. How nice is that? Now keep pushing this right arm straight, spin the arm bone forward. Now look up to the sky and try and expose your chest, expansive chest up to the ceiling, right? And then now reach your arm bone up, right? Some of you are letting this head of the right shoulder come with you. I want it going to whatever that road is called out there, right? Good, now keep looking up to the ceiling. Bring this left palm on top of the head of your shoulder again. So move out of range for a little bit, just a little bit, great. Concentrate instead, trying to spin at this pelvis, more, and then spin the right lung underneath and left lung over more, great. Now, gently bring the chin back in towards its throat. Now let the arm bone travel further back and feel that against the pec minor tissue, the chest wall, with this right shoulder underneath you, spins around. Beautiful. What I really like is to then dangle and drop the effort of my right ear and do a couple of yeses with my chin and really try and release that neck tissue there. Yeah, beautiful. You're gonna come and bring your hands back onto the blocks and just have a little shimmy, little wiggle. Yep, knees underneath you. Beautiful. So let's do the other side. So make sure you have enough distance between your knees and your hands. Right elbow spins and pulls. But just have a look at your left arm bone. We keep that external rotation. Then exhale, spin, thread the needle. And then just keep winding yourself through those 2 planes of movement. Breath doesn't necessarily have to match movement, but you could bring a little bit more awareness to your breath. And if you concentrate on breathing around your primary breathing muscle, your diaphragm and the rib cage, you're probably going to create more impact in your thoracic spine. All right, next time we will lawnmower pull, let's keep that, look down, step that left knee in a little bit, step the right foot off to the right, turn the toes out so we have external rotation in the hip. First start at your base, spin the pelvis a little more, then spin the ribs and push the block away with your left arm bone. Look up, reach up, Take the head of your right shoulder, the one that's pointing up to the ceiling, and scoop it onto your upper back. So away from the chest wall, right? Then let the arm bone travel away, 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 and maybe let the left ear drop down towards the left shoulder. Some days I like to do some no's or some yeses. Oh, yes, get that right rib cage right up to the ceiling like you're trying to expose all your gills. Beautiful. Hands onto the blocks, knees onto the floor. Keep your blocks, downward dog. Strong, straight arms. It's a familiar shape. I'm sure you've all done downward dog at some point, many a times. So let yourself just feel what today's is like. Yep, you'll have little favorite micro movements or sways in your bones that help, relieve any tension of tissues. Good, and spread the effort of your fingers around your blocks. It's kind of cool working with your blocks because it reminds you that your fingers can grip. Beautiful. Then let's shorten the stance a little bit by walking our feet in towards our hands, just a little bit, not much, just a tiny little step in. Come off the left heel so you're only on the ball of the left foot. And take your left elbow and push it against your inner left knee, like you're about to do a bind, right? So left elbow is pushing against inner left knee, right hand is now on your right quad. Chin to chest and look underneath your right armpit. And everyone's like, what? Left elbow is inside the left knee, pushing against it. The right hand is on the right quad. The right hand is pushing the block away. And you're trying to lengthen the space between the right rib and the right rib cage. Beautiful. All right, switch. You can look forward to just kind of get your grips. So now you're off the right heel. Right elbow inside right knee. Left hand grabs the meat of the left quad. And then peer underneath your left armpit. The resistance of your right elbow pushing against your inner right knee makes your right hip perform adduction, which can help many of you wind the left edge of your pelvis back. Yeah, and go ahead and breathe into the back of your spine and your rib cage. Awesome. All right, let's walk to the front of the mat and we can just put these blocks to the side where they're not in your way. So we've got some pelvic distance between our feet, nice soft knees, elbows on your shins or on your knees, wherever they naturally land, and then let your head drop into the support of your hands. You've got your hamstrings on stretch, which feels nice, but engage the very top insertion point of your hamstring. It feels like you're trying to stiffen the back of your leg muscles. But balance that effort of stiffness with really generous breaths. Soft attention on what you're doing, how you're feeling. Keep the knees soft, hands on shins, pull your chest towards me, but can you keep your chin connected to your throat? So rather, I'm looking for extension in your thoracic spine, and the neck stays lengthened behind you. And then fold over your legs. Let's do that again. Spine is long on your in-breath, and fold over on your exhale. Feels like you're pushing the ground away. Stand up. When you stand up, reach your arm bones to the ceiling. Yep, no need to look up. Let's just keep the back of the neck smooth and the skull sitting over your pelvic floor. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and make your scapulars slide up your back. And it's like someone's holding the perimeter of your pelvis, so all of the tissue in the side of your body can elongate with your reach, and then side bend to the bolsters. Yeah. And you might just be using a little bit of glute effort to balance if your pelvis tips at all, so that, again, we can benefit trying to get this left rib cage up and out of your back pocket. And when you center, left arm underneath your right, eagle wrap. Or, you know, if there's like big biceps in the way or whatever, that's completely fine. In your eagle wrap, pull your elbows towards your toes so your delts get a little bit more taut against your arm bones, right? And then shift your butt back like you're sitting in a tiny toddler IKEA chair. Goes the knees. Awesome. So think of like sitting on that tiny little chair, but keep the chest wall open. Beautiful. And pull your arm bones against each other. Might feel a little spread sort of around your shoulder blades there. And push your legs, reach your arms up. Grab your right wrist. Keep your front ribs hugging in as you side bend to the left now, towards the toilet. Right. If you feel like your armpits have rotated, level those out as well with your pelvis. And then this time when you come up, it's your right arm underneath your left. Beautiful. Squeeze the two against each other. Inhale, breath. And then exhale, go and sit into that little chair behind you. Good. And if you feel like you're being really tucked under with your low back, try and booty pop. But if you are like, oh, I know I have too much booty pop, just hug in your ribs a little bit to balance it out and spread your chest out instead. Yeah. Lengthen the back of your neck. There we go. Yes, there we go. Beautiful. Push your legs and stand up. Reach up. Oh, breathe into the side of your body and hinge from your hips and take your hands to the floor. Or fingertips, right? Halfway lift, big breath. Right foot steps back, lower your knee. Reach your arms up to the sky, low lunge. Have your right hip sitting right over your right knee. And again, your front ribs sitting over your pelvis. Grab the right wrist again and side bend to the left. And right hand flat underneath you. Spin your chest towards your left kneecap and reach your arm up to the sky. Take heads of shoulders away from the center of your chest and try and reach that left arm bone even further back behind you. Beautiful. Frame your left foot with your fingertips and come forward off your back leg. So you're standing just on the left leg, but keep that knee soft. Ease in the back of your neck here. Feel the right thigh lift a little bit more in extension as potentially pull your chest forward. Inhale, breath. Then round in like a flamingo, you know, when they kind of pull one knee in and try and cat curl your spine. So let's do this again. So kick it back like a standing split. Inhale. And then curl in like a flamingo as you exhale. Beautiful. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale, round. Really nice. One more. From the flamingo, step right foot plank, hands to floor. Left foot hooks on top of the right. So now you get that nice squeeze of adduction in your legs and simply rock over the fascia of your right foot and all 5 toes. Keep ease in the back of your neck. And then bend your elbows and bring your body to the floor. Unhook your feet. Cobra. Balance the amount you push in your hands, but then pull as well. Right? So I don't mind if you push your body away from the floor, but feel as if you pull to depress the scapulars to get your shoulders in extension. Beautiful. Don't worry about your neck. Down dog. Ah. Good. Come on, breathe into your body. It will feel nice. Nice big breaths. Ah. Yeah, there you go. Push the ground away. Make your down dog nice and active. Your heels absolutely can be lifted. Having a little bit more flexion in the kneecap might allow you to have a little bit more flexion in the hip joint, which will make all of your spines feel longer. Take one more big breath in and full breath out. And simply walk your feet, top of the mat. Halfway lift, don't stick your chin out, big breath. Fold over your legs. Leg effort is strong, stand up. And fold over, exhale, breath. Halfway lift. Left foot steps back, lower your knee. Arms reach. Low lunge. Good, left glute is firm. The benefit of opening your hip. Beautiful. Great. Let's make your elbow joints as straight as they can. Yeah, great. And now make your shoulder blades reach up your back. Good. Now keep that effort. It feels weird for some of us who don't put effort in reaching our arms up, right? And then just gently hug your ribs back a bit, but keep the reach up. There we go. Grab your left wrist and side bend up and over. Which one's my left? Which one's my right? Good. The more you get used to this upward elevation in the side of your body, it's going to make shapes like wheel, handstand more available to you because you have that length. Let's come into our twist. So left palm underneath us. We're spinning at the belly, the navel, the chest, shoulders. Push the ground away. Try and shrug now the heads of the shoulders away from the chest wall. And let that right arm sort of travel out of your periphery. Good. But then maybe just completely drop any effort in the neck, right? Left ear actually collapses on left shoulder. Oh, heaven. Big inhale, breath. Frame your right foot with your fingertips and then come off your back knee and the back leg entirety. You can have a couple of blocks underneath you too here. Now I'm looking for both of your pelvic points to stay facing down, so don't worry about lifting this back leg very high. Take an inhale and thread length through the spine. Your exhale is your flamingo curl round the back body. And go like that again, so inhale, back behind you. Exhale, curl it in. Beautiful, 2 more. Yeah, inhale, length. Then a big, big rounding for me. Round, 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 round. Yeah, left foot plank, hands flat. When right foot joins it, hook it on top. Yeah, and then rock over the connective tissue on the ball of your left foot. It's nice to just feel some gravity on the core muscles too. Notice if you're a head dangler. Like, oh, shit, my head is right down on my yoga mat there. Good. And then can you keep that rigidity in your body as you lower slowly? Beautiful. Unhook your feet. Let's do a cobra. Come on up. Yeah, come back down again. And have your hands back here at your rib cage. Yeah, there you go. Because then when you pull through, you can get more chest expression and then more depression of the traps and shoulder blades, more length here. Don't worry about extending there. I want to see you extend here. Good. Firmer glutes. Belly lifts away from, yeah, beautiful. Then lie down. Then through your hands and knees, come to down dog, and you'll be like, oh, yum. I love this one. Yeah, really nice arm effort. You can see that length in the side of your body now. Just make sure you kind of keep the balance of maintaining that arm effort, but then really nice and soft and relaxed at the base of your neck at your occiput here. Yes, there we go. Beautiful. So keep that and push here. Get a little bit lighter with your forearms. There you go. And softer here. Beautiful, that looks nice. And let's walk our feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in and fold. Push your legs to rise. And hands to your heart. You can do this with eyes closed or open. You just take a moment to see, witness, consider, reflect how just a few simple shapes have made an impact, or something feel interesting or different, maybe lifted and more lighter, maybe more grounded, more present. And together, big breath in and a full breath out. Eyes open if they're not already. Reach your arms up, big breath, and fold over your hips. Take a halfway lift. Plank. Just take another breath. Knees can support you through a lowering. Cobra pose. Downward dog. Left leg to the sky. Keep your armpits balanced. Bend your knee and turn your left knee up and out to the left. So you've performed external rotation in your hip. Like we did in that first weird kneeling, twisting position. Also now turn your pubic bone to the left. You'll feel your inner right groin probably stretch more. You need to balance that out with lifting your right armpit up. Very good, very nice. Feels good, right? Come off the right heel. Inhale. Exhale, curl your knee forward to step warrior one. Yeah, you can be on two different lines. I quite like a short stance. It's up to you. A small lunge in the front leg, arms reach. And you welcome that arm effort back in. Elevating up, push your back leg strong. But feel this back leg behind you trying to spin inward and forward. So it's called internal rotation of your hip. Whereas your front hip, this leg bone and hip joint is trying to spin outward, right? And then you balance this between the front and the back of the pelvis, more than likely trying to lengthen here, reach here, beautiful. Then interlace your hands behind the back of your body. If you have big pec muscles, maybe they're tight, you might have to keep your elbows bent, right? And focus on sandwiching your elbows together. If there's generosity to your tissues, you can straighten your elbows, take a breath. Just come and fold your chest towards your front knee. Don't expect yourself to dive too deeply. Yeah. So maybe if you were to look at your back right leg, you'd stamp it even further and deeper into the mat. But try and again find this spin of the right hip forward, and the back left hip is trying to squeeze back. Cool. Soften your jaw and your mouth, put more effort in your belly lifting up into your lumbar instead. Awesome. And maybe reach your arm bones further towards the front of the room. And can we let the inner cylinder of the core work harder so our neck can completely relax and let our head just dangle? Hard, right? Good. Now grab your 2 blocks half moon pose. 2 blocks under your hands in half moon. And have the blocks reaching so far forward that maybe they come onto your friend's mat in front of you, right out in front. Yeah, and I like the blocks on the tall edge, by the way. My hamstrings are pretty generous. So both hands are on the block. Yeah. So it's almost like you're in down dog with your upper body. Now, let your left kneecap, if it hasn't already, come into a little bit of a bend. Yep. So you've engaged more of your insertion and origin point of your calf between your ankle and your knee. And feel your left knee stay in that flexed position. Use the effort of pushing your hands into the block to sit the weight of your body further in towards your creased left hip. Yeah. Now keep that. Feel the outer right hip effort. Lift this right foot. What are you doing? Higher. Good. Sit and fold my fingers. Fold, fold, sandwich. Yes. Now keep that because I know that then you would be able to work harder here. Good. Awesome. And then you can probably go longer. Yeah. Good. Come on, get that right leg up to the sky. I know you've been here a while. There you go. Woo. And then you're ready. The blocks might come with you under your chest for a little bit. Warrior two. Oh. Land your right foot. Reach your arms. Warrior two. And we'll reverse. Hands to the floor. Return to the three-legged down dog with the twist. Left knee up. But this time, let the right elbow step and lower back onto the mat. So you're in a funky dolphin. Beautiful. And come off the elbow, bring the left foot down. So you're in a down dog. But pivot your heels to the left and sit on your left outer hip. Yeah. Good. And take your hands like you're about to do plank, that you've twisted your knees this way, right? And then slide and glide your rib cage towards your thumbs. So you've taken this nook of the iliopsoas and lengthened it with the intercostal tissue. Then look to the bolsters or the mats and try and shove the left ear as far away from the left delt as you can. You can even try and slide the head of the shoulder away. Good. Come back, twisted three-legged down dog. Put this right forearm on the floor. Yeah, hug your front ribs in. This time when you come off the elbow, lower your two knees underneath you and come into a nice deep thread the needle. Where you place your right fingertips on the floor just above your hairline, you point your elbow up and you try to get the weight of your elbow on your upper back and make the twist in your upper back more passive. Yes, you can spread all of that out. Yeah, and then some of you I can see, which again, it's just habit, is we're trying to like look up and see how much we can get up with our neck. Not that that's a bad thing, right? It's not at all. But if you just soften that down, I dare say that your nervous system will then put you in more of a state of trying to spin at a more stiff region of your body. Amazing. When you come out, two forearms to the floor, dolphin. And left leg up. Don't turn your pelvis like we did in the three-legged down dog. Look at your right toes. Yep, they're the ones on the floor. Right. Now push the floor away with your forearms. And like we've been doing all night, try to concentrate on having your shoulders as close to your ears as possible. Yeah. And just to imagine a little bit more core work resistance is push your foot against something and that something pushes back into you. And where do you feel it? Your center, like a boxer. 3, front ribs up, 2, and then lower down onto your knees. Well done. And downward dog. Well done. I feel like I've slowed down tonight, but it's still firing, right? It's nice to take our time. Right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, turn the hip up to the roof. Beautiful. Yeah, and then, you know, let the pubic bone turn. Great. And then because that is very heavy, you just balance that out a little bit with taking your left armpit and siphoning it up. Yeah, and for some of you, like rib cage stuff. Yeah, good. Big inhale breath. Right knee curls in and through, warrior one. Make your stance just a tiny bit shorter in length. Yep. Right. So back leg has a spinning inward motion. Your pelvis also won't be squared to the front of the room either, so you don't have to aim for that. Might feel like it's pointing a little bit more to the left. Beautiful. And then don't lift from here. Lift from here. Get your elbow joint straightened. Right. There we go. You might find your down dog better suited to be here rather than here. Try. Find an interlace at your lower back. Beautiful. So focus on, priority is not the bind, it's this guy, this poor little guy, right? Trying to get it back. So you want to try and get the ability to extend the shoulder. And for some of us, we can only do that with bent elbows. So we might keep that as we fold, or for some of you might be able to straighten your bind. Yeah. A much, much bigger ask for men to straighten their arms, right? And keep the integrity at the head of the shoulder. Why? Because they've got awesome big delts. They're just, their tissue mass is bigger, right? Yeah, way better. And that's where I want the opening in the chest wall too. Beautiful. So belly siphons, like that feeling in dolphin that we did, but head releases. Push here. Good. Right hip hugs in. There we go. Half moon with your two blocks. So it feels like a reaching half moon. Good. So even though I want your blocks very far forward, I want the center of your body weight over your mid right foot. So that means that for a majority of you, you need to bend your right knee more and sit in the weight of the heel a bit, but keep the left big toe pushing down. Right big toe, sorry, big pushing down. And create a deeper fold, yes, in the hip. They've got these beautiful, long side bodies. Amazing. And think of your outer left glute muscle is going to lift this left leg higher. Sit back with me here. Yes, bend where my knee is. There we go. Belly siphons. Chin into your throat. Woo, warrior two, beautiful. Good, reverse your warrior, big breath. And hands to the floor. Downward dog with that right knee up and back. Coming into the little funky dolphin. So that I like to step my forearm a little further in. Yeah, and I'm pushing that right hand down, lifting the integrity of the rib cage. Beautiful. And then when you come off the elbow and step your feet down again, just spin your heels to the right and sit into this kind of funky little seated position. And then change your hands to be about chest distance. So forcing these kind of rigid femurs to point this way, we get to turn the thoracic spine. Then with the aim of taking our right rib cage and trying to shove it out of our belly. Again, you do this sort of dramatic chest pull. Then spin your chin to your left shoulder and then stick your chin out like I've been asking you not to do all night. And hug your right shoulder down into your front right pocket. Ugh. Gets into oblique tissue, edge of your diaphragm, your psoas. And then just quietly pull your chin in, come onto your toes, lift back up, the funky dolphin down dog. Ribs in. Then we're nice and ready. 2 knees to the floor and right arm through. And come onto the left fingertips. Point that left elbow up to the ceiling. And instead of trying to get your eyeballs up to the sky, just quieten them down and use your left fingertips to help you, again, spin the rib cage. Look at your eyes and then walk your knees back, take care of it. And even distance your knees. Yeah, go keep looking at your drink bottle. And then use this pushing arm, to help you, don't spin from here. Move this, not this. That's so hard, isn't it? They're so used to, the neck is so much more flexible, whereas this is rigid. So in that case, I always like to try and make this more free. Beautiful. Okay. Unwind. Have a little shimmy in a kind of cat-cow. Right. You want to take these 2 blocks. One will come sideways on the little inferior point of your shoulder blades. Same height, or if you're someone who has a very kind of habitual back of neck that does this, if I've come along to you tonight and done that, I sometimes, especially if I've been at the computer all day, like to have this on the tall one, or you can have it on the medium and put it on the occiput. So it's not on your neck, it's on the rounded ridge of your skull. And then you want your arm bones to be in between these 2 blocks. Palms facing up, little soft bend to the elbows so that we can get the head of that shoulder as draped as we can. And legs long if that feels nice. Just lift your head up a bit. Yeah, and then try now. Yeah. Focus, step, breath. Structure. Can I adjust? This one. Okay, if you want to come up. Yep. Go. Adjust that to center as much as you need to. Is that all right? There. Now, if you felt like you've done all of that kind of juicy, expansive shoulder prep and you are just really, really hanging out for a wheel. I didn't prep your quads, so keep that in mind. You're welcome to come up and join me for that. If you would like to stay in the fish for another minute, or come off the blocks, lay down, and just let that integration of your front ribs land towards your back ribs again before we do settle into Shavasana. Yeah, totally. Do you want me to teach you? Do you practice here at this studio? Do you want me to teach you how you can do it when I'm not here? Okay, come off your mat. Because it's good here. Now when I'm not here, you don't want to make sure you haven't gotten it on properly. Your head is going to lie down in between the blocks. Have your feet underneath your knees. Further closer in with your feet, but feet further towards everyone else. Yeah. Now only lift your butt up off the floor. Yeah, and then just stay there and breathe. Reach your arms up to the sky. And then plug your arm bones back so your scapulas come together and it causes your chest to pop. Bend your elbows and place your hands on the block like that. Yep, okay. Similar to this being my ankles. Push into the blocks, exaggerate that scapular traction, chest lift, and come up. Good. Push into the blocks, chest lifts. Arm in, breathe, and release. You got it. You got it. It takes the wrist extension out of it. Do it again with me. I think your feet need to go longer. Further forward. Yeah, now only bum up. Now get that feeling of pushing me down to exaggerate that retraction. I bend my knees and we're going to come up together. Good. Like you did with the blocks, push them away to lift your chest. Breathe. Now it's massive. 2, 1. Good job. Well done. Well done. Put your feet wide and knees together. And rest. Well done. So just wiggle your way into a position that feels comfortable for you to spend a couple of minutes. And just take a moment to consider, does it feel like your body needs a bit of space? If so, have your hands off your body. Maybe palms turned up. And if you're craving more of that feeling of connection, or it's felt really nice to be so considerate with your body tonight, then place your hands, either on your belly, maybe one on your chest, something that feels comforting and right for you. And just as your bones, are heavy in the tissue of your whole body, just let any excitement simmer down. be present of your energy, yourself, space, and the world around you. Oftentimes after practice, our interoception feels so much more clear. Aware of our heartbeat in a really positive way, aware of your body temperature, cadence of your breath. Inhale breath and releasing that how you need to. Just remain still. The next time you do that, I'd like you to really notice the perimeter of your diaphragm, all of that intercostal tissue edge. Be aware of the back of your ribs forming. And right under your ribs where your kidneys and your adrenals sit on a shelf. When we breathe, our organs travel and glide and slide. So again, let's consider the efforts of the practice, everything, all the thoughtful movements we made within our body, because that manipulates breath mechanics, bless you, more than likely there's been some sort of shift or regulation in the nervous system. So awareness to the back of the ribs. When you're ready, big breath in. Big breath out. Your arms reach over your ears, like first thing in the morning when you wake up. Notice any change in the length of your tissue or the side of your body. And as your knees come in, roll onto your right side and just curl up into this like kind of deliciousness, this shell. You can use your, little prayer palms or your biceps as a pillow to rest. And we'll close the practice seated. Take your time, go easy. It's nice when we come into a seat, we're often sitting really tall, which is beautiful, but just really, really soften the effort of that down. Two palms either together in front of your chest or over your chest. Breathe in and breathe out. Lowering the head to the heart. May we go home safe, happy, and well. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Practice. It's beautiful to share this space with you. I hope you feel delicious. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Amy Carmody movement. Thanks. Okay.
I love you. Super strong.